We're back for the last 10 tracks in a moment. See you soon. All right, day three of these reviews, or rather listening session 3. This isn't the third day I've been doing it. Yeah, wake now, new day. We've got 10 tracks to go. We've got no long ones, which is a shame because I really liked Agincourt. That was a really cool tale, but I'm sure these tracks will be really good as well. So starting with 6 Degrees North, let's go. An aeroplane, right? I miss aeroplanes. I miss flying on flights. Again, the power of Greg Barnett's recordings within this album is not just that he's playing music, but he's also bringing you into his world via all these different samples like this, right? Hey, hand drums. Where are we at the moment? I'm tempted to make a stereotype, but I don't want to. I want to wait it out. Are we driving to the ocean or something like that? Guitar and strings, alright. I'm back in familiar territory now. Ah, is this another instrumental, is it? Very pleasant and almost nostalgic sounding with that main melody there with the rhythm guitars. Oh, a little bit of tension there. Bam, bam, bam. Got a bit of chromaticism going on there, Greg. Wouldn't be unusual. Now that harmony, that was potentially divisive. It was an interesting choice there, but I kind of dig it. I like the risks we're taking. Those notes didn't necessarily go in the same key or the same scale, but the tonality kind of was fun to have there. Again, I wouldn't have predicted that ending to that tale. And then you have that harmony there. It's interesting how we've got the drum cymbals panned. I'm not used to having the right cymbal on the right. It kind of seems like we're facing a live drummer where they would have the right cymbal on their right. Oh, sorry, left. Man, I don't even know my directions this morning. It's all good. It's all good. It sounds very fresh, doesn't it? Is this the anticipation? The joy of adventure? There's a very fresh sounding synth harmony there. Yeah, I quite like this one. Primarily it makes me want to go escape and go places, which I can't. Because New Zealand's in lockdown at the moment, baby. New Zealand's in lockdown. So I'm stuck at home. which is probably lucky because I have so many of these music reviews today, and that's not me flexing. That's just, oh my goodness, last 2 days. Yeah. Again, I just love the waves there. It helps you to, just that stuff helps you to understand the story the music's telling without needing to be led by the vocals. Oy Vey Maria. Oy Vey. I dig that.
Maria, place my head on your shoulder. My children gone wild. Now they are older. Where are the meek to inherit the earth? Is all that I've done of so little worth?
Oh shit, man. Questioning your own. That's an existential crisis right there.
And that approaches was not mine to make. I said if it's there, okay. Then it's there for the taking.
That's a really pretty little chime on top of that. This guy's a phenomenal songwriter. I know I've said this a lot of different times, but these chord choices are just so out of the box, so out there, man. It's so cool that you can tell he's played a wide variety of different musical genres, and he's taken influences from all these different bits and kind of making them his own.
Help me, Maria.
It's the mark of a real craftsman.
I'm meant to be perfect, something divine. And so I gave them a garden of Eden. But look at it now, it's broken and bleeding.
I was just going more towards the mother nature and human stain kind of thing.
They live for the present with no thought for tomorrow.
That extra bar was meaningful there. It was nice to change up the flow of it.
Oh my Maria, what on earth can be done?
I'm liking these backing vocals here, or at least the fact that they're double tracked. And I've got to admit, like that little drum fill there, that dun dun dun, you know, that's enough to differentiate between verses and choruses. You don't need to really exaggerate it.
To make them less selfish, and all I just want, with more mouths to feed, what the hell will they do?
That's a good question.
Destroying their world, who they think they can fool. Carelessly living, they think it's for free. If I made them this stupid, should I just let it be, Marie?
I think the main theme of this album so far for me has just been the fragility, the fallibility of us as animals, as human beings. And I agree with a lot of the points that Greg's made about the way that we treat things like in Agincourt and the C-Bomb, you know, Bubble Boy, and you can learn from this album as well.
Hey Maria, I know not what to do.
And we're slowing down now. It's just, we've got a church chorus kind of vibe going on here with these strings, which matches the situation described in the lyrics. I like how this is playing a similar melody to what Greg was doing in the verses. It's just filling in that gap where the vocals aren't anymore, and continues to ask questions and ponder their own existence. Plus the, you know, I think if I caught it correctly, he was talking about like, what have I done? As in like, is that the person who made humans kind of wondering if they made the mistake there of bringing them into the world? You know, should they try and help them or let them be or stop them? You know what I mean? I think that's an interesting element to it, you know, because a lot of people just do take it for granted. should we have access to this earth? Should we be trusted with it? And it's so friendly and vibrant that it again belies the really intense questions that are being asked here. And these are...
Vey Maria, what should I do?
Exactly. That's the main question. What should I do? What can we do? How do we fix this? Because it's one thing to talk about, you know, how people are struggling to take responsibility for the world and you're completely pillaging it. But then it's like, yeah, okay, we know that this is happening. What can we do to change it? And that's the difficult part, is that people don't like being told what to do. It's tough, man. But I think it's good to ask questions like that. And again, I just think it's so charming how Vey Maria was done. Oy vey, right? It was so charming, but I think you kind of have to write it like that in order to make it something that people will want to consider, because if you make it aggressive, people are going to get turned off by it. One goodbye.
One goodbye must be the last.
I can't get over how much he sounds like the vocalist from Opeth. Greg, if you're watching this, listen to some of the acoustic stuff from Opeth. I know I've said this a few times now, but you are a dead ringer for it, man. And that guy is a phenomenal vocalist too. I just love his texture and the warmth and vibrancy, man. I dig it.
We all move in circles, and all circles close. We can't tell the future or our fate, I suppose. One word that haunts us both from the past.
It's nice to have those boom, 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 boom. Follow the vocal melody there to add a little bit of depth and grittiness to it. I dig it, man.
Sands of time flow much too fast.
And we're modulating that melody there to kind of make it a bit more happy sounding.
Love being together, we hate being apart. No more stops on our journey. Trust in your heart. Each meeting so precious.
Okay.
Each moment so rare.
So the strings are coming in.
Time slips through our fingers. So till next time, take care.
Time slips through our fingers, so until next time, take care. So this is about the relationships that we have with people and making the most of them while they are with us. The life moves fast bit, how it goes to a minor tonality on the fast bit. It's just such a quick emotional shift. It's the beauty of what Greg does. He hits you hard, man, with these chords, these parallel majors and minors out of nowhere.
No time to cry, say hello, not goodbye. Each goodbye is something sad.
It can be, yeah.
But we take the good with the bad.
Exactly.
Don't take.
See, like it's stuff like how it went with good with the bad, and it had the minor chord. Is it saying that it's sad that we have to put up with it though? Like these are some interesting questions that are being posed just by these little bits. This is the intelligence behind this music.
Dreams drift like smoke. Capture the moment, the promise we spoke.
Okay, we got that synthy horn brass bit going with the guitar melody, which is fun. That extra layer in the higher frequencies is good. The reason it's good, sorry, that's very poor vocabulary on my part. The reason it's good is because it's a little bit extra that when you come back to this theme, it's like, oh, this is a new thing, even though it's repeated. Do you know what I mean? It refreshes it. That's better.
No time resist while you can. Things that still bind us, our fates in our hands. On as friends, strong to the end. Put the blue in my sky, say hello, not goodbye.
And you're finishing with a bum bum, as if to say at the ending, will we see each other again? You know, these are the stories that he's telling are very interesting, and there's actually a really interesting neutral tonality to the way he sings. You never get the impression that he's angry or upset, frustrated with a situation. We've got a musician who's able to deliver things in a very professional, mature manner. But he allows the music to get you to feel the things it needs to, and there's a lot of symbolism involved there. That's the strength of it. I think that once you start inserting your own emotions into your vocal performance, it makes it incredibly authentic, but you have to be as consistent as that throughout the whole entire 30-track album, and that's phenomenally difficult, and I don't think it's necessary. Greg Barnett is good enough without that. He doesn't need to, you know what I mean? It's enough the way it is. Pop song featuring Martin Hale.
I wanna write a pop song.
Woo, okay, let's go.
3 minutes and it's too long.
Yes.
Just
yes.
chords can take
Preach.
us far. Riffs you can play on air guitar. Simple beat to make you tap your feet. Simple words you can repeat.
I think there's an underlying cynicism to
Stuff
this.
creeps in that I want to say. It just comes out that way. Things that hit me every single day. But before it turns to black and I become a maniac, I try to get this pop song back on track.
Oh, I get it. So this is about like trying to write music that's catchy, but you're actually a human being and not a robot. And so you're getting distracted by all this stuff that's not really a part of the vibe, you know. And I get it. I get what you're tilting at, Greg. Oh man, pop music sucks. It sucks when people expect you to write a certain way, man. I was wondering why this track was just below the 3-minute mark. Well played, Greg. Fun fact: a lot of time it's actually below. It's about 2 minutes now. A lot of pop songs I get now are 2 minutes. So have fun with that.
I know what you're looking for. So
yeah.
stay well clear of metaphor.
Oh yeah, no, don't do metaphors. People have to be spoon-fed lyrics and they can't have any complexity to it. It needs to be very, very easy for them to understand so that nobody has to think about it. I can see how that relates to a lot of the themes you've been talking about with people. I see you, Greg. I see you.
Cause you like me saying baby. So here it is, baby. Here's my pop song, baby. Change of heart.
Yeah, why is baby a thing? Like, I know I'm not really talking about the guitar, bass, and drums much. I think at this point, anyone who's watched the 2 hours through this review has pretty much surmised that the instrumental performances on this album are pretty on point. Like, there's the occasional bit where maybe the note doesn't come through as clearly as it needs to, but dude, it's a 30-track album, and I'd much rather have these occasional bits where it could have been done slightly differently than have a completely clinical, sterilized album that sounds boring, you know?
May not last. Pop songs
organic is awesome.
Fast. 20 words and 3 chords feel so thin.
Yeah.
A formula that's often taught. Where's the substance? Where's the thought? Should I throw this pop song in the bin? Pop, 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 pop.
Guitar solo. I gotta admit, Greg Barnett knows how to write a hell of a pop song, even if it's like a protest against pop songs. He knows how to write a hell of a pop song. All those unison bends are just... Oh, you've got to have unison bends. You can't have a guitar solo without unison bends, dude. Be thankful that you're not writing metal nowadays, because basically with like metal, like progressive metal nowadays, unless you're doing two-handed tapping, 7-string sweeps, you're not even playing the guitar. It's just fucking ridiculous, dude. Oh man. Ooh, I like this, dude. Tap the tap the tap 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 tap.
Pop, pop, pop. This might well be a pop song.
Was that Martin Hale on the guitar, maybe? Trying to figure out where he was.
To squeeze in just one extra word. People say you're being absurd. Keep it swing and keep it fine. And draw the line at 2 minutes 59.
Yes! 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 Oh, that's one of my favorites from this. Oh, I love it. Dude, make this this is my anthem. Dude, I want this to be like my ringtone when I wake up in the morning. I love the seething. There's an underlying, maybe I'm just imagining it, but my empathy, right? Is it empathy? My instinct listening to this, it's just making fun of the stupidity of the thing, you know? Like, there's just so many things I want to say about this, but the main message I want to say about the pop song featuring Martin Hale is, hey, that guitar solo was pretty sick. Well done. Well, performance was on point as well. Again, it was very neutral. Again, that really helps to not... There's a great irony with this album, actually, because I want to say it doesn't put people off listening to it, but like that's only because people are listening to the music and feeling the groove of it, you know? When you get into a position where like people are actually having to think about it critically and constructively, then they might kind of get unnerved a little bit. But Greg Barnett puts you into a lull of like, oh yeah, this is a thing that's happening. Yeah, you got the dun 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 dun, and then you think about those lyrics for more than like 5-10 seconds, and you have an existential crisis, and you realize, good stuff. Sunset 25, man. 6 tracks to go.
I wanna write a pop song.
No, that's not the right one. We want Sunset. Thank you, Music Bee. Music Bee, what are you doing, buddy? This is what happens when you have the album art here so you can't see the song title. I'll just make excuses, it's fine. People love excuses. Oh, we've got Sunrise and then Sunset. Again, this could be video game music. I think that if Greg Barnett is not making music for video games, he should. This would fit really well into a game like Stardew Valley or Terraria. You could replace the drums with MIDI drums and like have like a real kind of 16-bit tonality to it. And it would fit. Dude, make music for video games, man. I know that might not be your like kind of thing, but dude, you'd make money from that, I'm sure. This is magical and mystical element to this. You've got a floaty melody with a harmony that sounds like it's in space. That synth sounds like the stars. It's incredibly relaxing, isn't it? It's very, very bright though on the headphones. I'm glad that there isn't more of a frequency bill resonance in the upper ones, because otherwise it might be a little bit too sharp, but it's okay. Yeah. You got those synth brass and a guitar. It's nice to have the drums step out for a little bit, actually. It's good to have breaks between percussion bits. There can be something real simple that changes up the song and keeps it interesting and retains engagement. Because you need engagement when you're listening to music. Sorry, that pop song really put me in a mood. I feel like playing some really heavy stuff, man. Oh, the shimmers are nice, though. Are they cool? What are they called? Are they shimmers or are they chimes? I'm gonna have to like find the actual instrument that is, because I just, you know, I feel incredibly ignorant. I've been doing this for a year and 2 months, and I still don't know the name of that instrument, even though I hear it like at least once a week. This would have been difficult to mix this part, because you wanted to keep it nice and gentle whilst also including those drums in there. The shimmer, the sparkle, the magic of it all, man. It sounds like the sunset. Again, with no words. It just communicates that via the music. Well done. Shadows. Oh, that buzz roll. Oh, that was gorgeous. Like, I know the guitars have been fantastic throughout this. Shout out to the percussionist. Shout out to the drummer. I have not heard any fault whatsoever throughout this entire time. Whoever has done the drums on these tracks is just a machine, dude.
Tonight I called you, nothing happened. You didn't hear me call your name. So much sadness, oh my precious.
5/8, 7/8 timing for this?
No one I can blame. I thought that love would conquer all.
Or 5/6, 5/8, 6/8.
That truth would win. Carefree days in simple ways could be the base of friendship. Now
oh, it's 5/4, isn't it?
And white for buried lies in landslips.
Sorry, I haven't really been paying much attention to the song. I've been trying to figure out the time signature, but I agree it's cool to hear a song in 5/4, especially with some of these jazzy elements that we've heard in the harmonies and the drum parts. It's great to commit to that 5/4 timing.
Day by day, leave the shadows behind you.
Nice vocal harmony there. It's cool to hear that. We don't hear too many vocal harmonies in this song.
I'll start dying.
Because that's it. Like, we've heard backing vocals panned in the mix, but I haven't heard two. Maybe they've been octaves, or they've just been double tracked to the specific note. It's been really good to hear those vocal harmonies when they come in, though. Greg knows how to handle them really effectively. Okay, what I'm going to do is I want to take this song from the top and I want to listen through it again. Because I was paying more attention to the time signature of this than I should have been. We're going to listen through it one more time. Because this is quite an important song.
Tonight I called you, nothing happened.
Okay.
You didn't hear me call your name. So much sadness, oh my precious. There is no one I can blame. I thought that love would conquer all. I thought that truth would win.
So is this about someone not being able to rely on their partner, or them being disappointed by not showing up at the time of need?
Carefree days in simple ways could be the base of friendship. Now I'm looking far and wide for buried buried lies in landslips, breath by breath.
Buried lies and landslips. That's clever stuff. That's clever lyricism there. It really, he wanted to just have a nice, chill friendship with people. He just wanted to relax and be able to trust the people around him. And he's having to look through the remnants of the facades and just try and figure out what went wrong.
Day by day, leave the shadows behind you. If I give up, I'll start dying. You have always been the one. I will be there for you always, like a planet around your sun.
So is this about a relationship where there's not reciprocation of the good faith and respect and trust?
Wasn't this what we'd been looking for? Is my love not what you want?
Oh shit.
Return to things the way they were. I don't want them to be over.
Alright, we're changing this chorus up a little bit.
Call your name, come back to me, my lover. Step by step, day.
Okay, interesting. I'm starting to get a bit more. I'm glad I started this track from the start again. I'm going to remember to edit out some of what I listened to in the previous song. But yeah, this is a deep, dark one. This is about just that lack of faith in a relationship that that person's going to have your back.
Leave the shadows behind you.
Oh, okay. Trying to step away from the darkness and try and find the light and have the faith of the people and get into happier relationships, or just to help the person get away from their kind of crappy past.
Return to things the way they were. They never will be over. I want this.
I think there's been some tracks earlier that have been talking about this sort of stuff.
Where are you now, my lover? If someday you come my way, I'll push those shadows behind you.
Ooh, legato rise.
Of you.
Well done holding that note there, Greg. That was well done. That was dope. That's one of the few times I've seen him kind of flex his vocal ability like that to hold the notes that long. That requires a great amount of technique and control over your breath and how you're producing that sound. So for him to hold it like that, there didn't need to be any vibrato or anything fancy, but just to hold that note clearly was really well done. You know, this 5/4 time signature signals a potential complexity to the situation, a sort of, not a melancholy, but a bittersweet nature to it. It kind of reminds me of Take 5 a little bit, or Autumn, what is Leaves? Oh no, I'm confusing it with Take 5, aren't I? My bad. That's probably, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to get the two confused. I know I should know better. I'll go revise my jazz standards after this. I apologize. The Autumn Leaves is different to Take 5, obviously. You know, they're standards. My bad. But yeah, I think I got the hang of what Shadows was about eventually. This is obviously more of a vocal-focused one, although you had some really interesting buzz rolls happening on the drums. But it was more about the woe of the vocalist and what they were going through than, you know, any sort of really fancy, crazy stuff going on with the instruments, the guitars and stuff. Very sad one, actually, Shadows. Let it go. Let it go, I mean. Oh, minor 7th.
I think it's time to say goodbye.
Is this following on from Shadows?
So long. We've tried real hard to make it right, not wrong. We did our best to talk it through. This world of me and you.
Okay, I get it. This one's very clear.
The air we share no longer tastes so good. Heaven knows we did all that we could. We didn't see.
The music's very neutral, isn't it? Like, I know it's still kind of trying to relate to the emotional content of the lyrics, but it's very much more about the message of the singer here than anything else.
Cracks that slowly grew.
Which is good. You don't want to have both parts complex. You don't want to have a complex instrumental section and a complex with a sort of thematically or literally like a melodically complex vocal section at the same time. It can become too much. You need to have one or the other.
Turn your back and look for something new.
Oh, the chorus coming in. There's vocal ahs. Nice shift up in the middle of the song. Kind of sounds like it's mourning the loss of me and you know? Sometimes things can't be repaired.
The good times and the memories tend to smooth the rough, but drifting paths can never make two halves.
I'm also acutely aware that this is piano-centric, which is kind of unusual for Greg Barnett, but I think that kind of works for like a ballad like this.
We always knew deep in our hearts that we would break apart.
Oh, that's rough.
When we're
Nice drum work there. Very succinct, classy fill.
Dear? Let's face the facts and act. There's nothing here. Sad songs can be much too long, I know. Admit defeat, you'll find your feet. Let go.
I suppose that's a good point, right? Sometimes you just need to let go of what you're struggling with. Sometimes, like he's talking about how they knew that they would break apart and now putting themselves under pressure and putting themselves in immense pain to try and rectify the situation when it's just not worth it. They need to just accept the inevitable. You know, I think that's a very mature, reasonable way to talk about it. The music isn't happy or sad. It is bittersweet. There's a bittersweet gentleness to it. It's not like either of them wanted for it to fail, but it just did. It sounds like Greg Barnett has had to deal with this in his life, and it's a very brutal thing to have to deal with. And I think that's part of what will allow this album to succeed, is that this is probably relatable to a lot of people, right? That separation by the choral R's. Okay, we got them replacing the vocal melody in this part now, which is cool. Cool. Well done with that ending tail on this with the chords. Oh. Section shift. We're not returning. There's no more story to be told. That's interesting. Oh. Modal shift. Or key change? Oh, it just blows me away how smooth these transitions are. It's effortless for Greg. It's so effortless for him, and it drives me insane. I'm so envious of how easily he moves between these different chord key signatures and his compositions. It's just, this is the power of knowledge, man. When you learn these things and you study it, you can just create this phenomenal music. Really brilliant. Let go. Told the story I needed to. And mourned it with the instrumental section at the end. Together. Oh, that guitar tone is kind of adorable, isn't it?
You're telling me bad news every night. Why don't you take time to show me some light?
Oh.
We're discovering new things every day. Shine like the sun, push darkness away. Sunrise every morning, stars fill the universe. Laugh or fight together, it's up to us.
Okay, this is interesting. You know, we're talking about choosing the messaging that we have for ourselves and also for other people, you know, our own narrative. Do we want to focus on the bad things or the good things? Do we want to try and measure it out and kind of apply it in a way that is rational and fair? I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back.
Up to us, it's up to us.
Oh, now that was a very stop-starty kind of feel that we had there. Kind of thing like things were falling down, right?
You're here with me, and if luck goes our way, we'll be stronger together, me and you, day by day.
There's a sense of hope and optimism to this chord progression. You've got some really interesting 4 or 5 note chord harmonies going on here that are just unusual in a lot of music today. And I'm kind of not used to hearing them, and they're like oxygen for me.
Looking after each other and the planet we're on. Together we'll dream to repair all that was wrong. We'll no longer focus on the negative things.
Cool.
With voices together, with joy we could bring. In this garden of Eden, in peace and tranquility, living life together. It's up to you, it's up to me.
Okay, I'm liking the intensity of the volume, the little mild crescendos that are going on here. It goes, because that brings, it's like the intensity, you and me, it forces you to pay attention to it. He's really emphasizing how we're all responsible for working together to improve it. It's not just the message of the C-bomb anymore at the start. There's been this growth. It's like, yeah, we should probably try and work together if we want to fix this. Even though the points of the C-bomb are valid. Which is objectively true. You know, we will be stronger together. Again, like a lot of us expect there to be groups of 4 or groups of 8 bars to sections. So for him to day by day, for him to kind of expand that into 5 or 6 bars is just different. It's just nice to try different things and to be creative with that. Again, a shift of tonality and texture with this kind of synthy. Oh, and the guitars. Call and response.
Continues endlessly.
Was that meant to be between the you and the me, the 2 groups of people communicating with each other? Is that what that was?
Fate is ours to make. The choice lies here before us. So will we love or will we hate? I want you here with me, and if luck goes our way, stronger together, me and you, day by day by day by day. you hear it?
There was a gentle love to that voice. I think that Greg genuinely wants people to work together to improve things. I think he's not just giving up hope on humanity in general.
And if luck goes our way, we'll be stronger together, me and you, day by day.
That was an interesting vocoder effect going on there. I wasn't expecting that. And harmony at the end there was a little bit rough. Like, and I'm not saying it's bad. It was just there's quite a lot of tension to it, but then it resolved itself quite nicely with the interval. What an adventure we've been on with the Flat White album, haven't we? That was that. Yeah, it was refreshing to hear Greg talk about the hope for a better future and to not kind of tear ourselves apart. I dig that a lot. There was a sense of hope and optimism in that track, even though there were little bits of maybe some flat fives or, you know. And again, the drums were just pocketing, the bass was pocketing, and he knew where to put in the fresher elements of those synth pads for effect. Great. We got Earthrise, 29. My goodness, this is going to be this is 3 hours, this review. This is going to be a real journey, man.
Earthrise on a dead and dusty plain, a precious diamond shining in the dark. Your eyes begin to water and your chest just aches in pain. All you know held in that little spark, a mother like no other, carried us for oh so many years.
Oh, this is talking about Mother Nature, how she's taking care of us and she's having a rough time right now. It's talking to her directly.
But that blue has turned a different hue and no longer seems so crystal clear.
Again, these metaphors are stunning.
Earthrise like a lighthouse in the black of night, brings us home from the great beyond.
This is a very powerful song, actually.
I see no nations down there, or why they have to fight. The same water, air and land joins everyone.
The music is so beautiful and gorgeous in this one. It's a very fragile instrumental composition here. It's very caring though at the same time. I don't know how to describe how it's making me feel. It's kind of getting to me a little bit in a good way.
Like no other, we've beaten down and turned our back upon, and that hue so blue has disappeared from view. Once beautiful, her face is turning brown.
Oh.
All the teeming billions have run right out of luck. We didn't think about the cost to turn that extra buck. We've all missed the chances to save our home and stay. Now bereft, no options left, we'll have to sail away.
Yeah, that's the real talk right now, because people are talking about going to other planets. Fuck, it makes me so miserable, dude. It's like, great, if we go to another planet, are we just going to ruin that one as well? I completely understand what Greg is talking about here. Like, I think this should be one of his singles, Earthrise. I think this is an incredibly brilliant track.
Earthrise, Earthrise.
Part of why I like this so much is because Greg sounds so good in his head voice, that upper range. It sounds so gentle, and it sounds incredibly sad. It kind of...
The earth can rise no more.
This is one of those classic tracks where the message is a lot darker than the music, and he's trying to balance out the intensity of the themes involved, but dude, anyone paying close attention to those lyrics, beautiful sounding track. If you're paying attention, you think, oh, that's a pretty sounding tune. But nah, man, there's a real talk in that. And he's right. I've been reading that scientists are saying there could potentially be no going back now. We've run out of opportunities to do that. And that's the future. So that's the future I have another 50 years involvement in as a 30-year-old. So fuck my life. We got Frogs in a Pan, number 30, the last track on the album.
How can you sleep at night, Mr. Politician Man? How can you bear to live at all? When what you do will flush the world down the pan, just so you can feel proud and tall. You have enough bombs to end the world, making more won't change a thing.
This kind of reminds me of the way that the solo section, the chord progression goes in Stairway to Heaven. Greg in this one just sounds really pissed off and frustrated. And the tone of his voice doesn't, because in his head voice, it's not like he's going really gritty to sound aggressive. He's trying to be diplomatic about it, but you can tell he's just sick of it, right?
So many better problems to solve for us all, but you'd rather feel more like a king. Power. So how much do you need? Money. You make our pockets bleed. Position. You make us bow with the just open your eyes and see. Mr. Politician, please do what you can.
Oh, that's a bombastic, sassy little melody on that brass. On the brass there, right? I dig it.
We got to turn down the heat. We're just frogs in a pan.
Oh, there's where that line was coming in. It was so smooth, dude.
Even though you may
Expert.
have a good heart inside and think you do the best that you can.
That tone of the guitar there has grown on me a little bit. Like, for real, I wasn't super keen on it at the start, but it kind of makes sense in regards to some of the other instruments involved.
Be up to one man.
Just because you got these acoustic instruments, it kind of got me at first, you know?
End up lying on a bed of nails. We're just a speck of dirt in the great void of space that we cling to with our fingernails. Power. So how much do you need? Money. You make our pockets bleed. Position. You make us bow in the just open your eyes and see.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal way because, like, just talking about that, I try not to get involved in politics on my channel, but also I can, you know, this is a music review. We've got some pretty heavy topics in this, and I think it's okay to talk about it as long as you're not a dick about it, right? You know, with the pockets bleeding and the power and the position and all that, it's not going to really matter much if we're frogs in a pan, right? And we're not here in like 30 years' time. It's not going to matter much, all that work. It's just kind of, this whole situation is really just stupid, isn't it?
Mr. Politician.
I like how it's Mr. Politician, because there's lots of them. And also, what the beauty of that also kind of avoids, you know, if people find out you've written the song, you're going to get the people who will just come into bat from anyways. And some people, especially with politics, are incredibly vicious and toxic. So it's a smart move going Mr. Politician, in the same way that it was a smart move having more than just, you know, Trump in the C-bomb. You know, having multiple politicians there makes it sound like you're just addressing people in general talking about it, which is a smart move.
just float in a pan. And take it or leave it, but for God's sake don't break it. This world is all we got.
And that was the final message, saying to the politicians, yo, you are literally responsible for the rest, for us having a future, you know. Please don't ruin it for everyone.